So we are now one day post-cataract surgery on my right eye. And how was my vision? I gotta say, it is a whole lot better than it was yesterday. I could tell throughout the course of the day that the vision was getting less and less blurry. But I still had throughout the entire day and into the night a lot of that light reflection, a lot of light reflecting all around the lens. I could see like the entire lens and concentric circles and starbursts and things like that. That also got better throughout the course of the day and through the night. Again, that was because my eye was super dilated. So now the eye isn't really dilated much anymore. And I don't see that same light reflection, which is good. And the distance vision is getting a whole lot better. And that's what we're going for on the right eye. Right now, actually, I have better clarity at a distance with my right eye, the one that got the replacement lens, than I do with the left eye. Now, I'm nearsighted in my left eye, just like I was in my right eye. So that's pretty much to be expected if we're going for distance, but it is getting better. And of course, that means I'm losing the close-up vision in my right eye, which again is to be expected, which has taken some getting used to because the cataract's been in my right eye. So my brain's kind of been shutting that one off because the vision wasn't very good and it was really relying on my left eye. And now it's discovered that the right eye is looking good again. So it's starting to tune into that. So I'm going to head right now to my ophthalmologist and we'll get the official word on how everything's going and we'll get a real check of the vision and what it really is. And I'll let you know. Come along.
Yeah, post-op day one. So Lisa, we are already 2025, uncorrected, no glasses in that right eye.
I'm pleased with it. Yesterday obviously was really blurry.
Yep.
But as the hours progressed, and when I woke up this morning, it's better than my left eye, which of course is myopic, but yeah, distance is better. Obviously, near is better here.
Makes sense. Yep.
And what concerned me yesterday was the light reflection in the side. I take it that's because it was dilated?
It's partially because you were dilated, and it's partially because the cornea was swollen.
Okay.
So in the first couple of hours post-operatively, the cornea starts to swell. When it swells, it starts to reflect light and scatter light like crazy.
Exactly.
And the way people tend to describe it is that it's almost like being in a fog. It's kind of like when you walk out of a hot shower and go to look in the mirror, it's all steamed up.
These had actual,
Rings.
Yeah. Rings as well as the starbursts.
Yes.
You know.
So that's the cornea being swollen and light getting scattered. I would imagine that that's already better today.
It is much better. Much better. I kept checking it through the night. Vision today, so what are we in this eye?
2025.
2025. This eye uncorrected is like 2100.
Correct.
This one I can read at, I don't know, today, I forget what it was.
So cover your left eye for me, and I want you to hold it at a comfortable distance for you.
So this is like where I normally.
Okay, and then just read right across there, just the top line.
COHT.
That's about J5.
Okay.
Now with your other eye, you're about J2.
J2.
Yeah, in that left eye.
Yeah.
And that's actually a pretty good paradigm because once we sharpen up the right eye completely through the adjustment process, if we leave your left eye alone, at least for the foreseeable future, you're going to have the full range of vision.
What about wearing the RX glasses?
These glasses are only necessary to wear outside.
Okay, not inside.
Not inside. I do not make patients wear them inside. Okay. Historically, prior to 2021, the lens itself did not have active shield inside of it, and therefore there was no UV blocker built into the lens, and ambient UV light in the environment could polymerize the macamers on the anterior surface of the lens. Post-active shield, that's no longer the case. Now, in order for these lenses to become adjusted, they require 100% UV light delivery. Therefore, with the light delivery device, the first step of it is 100% UV delivery to deactivate active shield, then targeted delivery on the lens to reshape it, and then removal of that UV in order to reactivate active shield. And the only times that anybody since active shield has been introduced have had aberrant polymerization of the macromers of the lens. One, somebody went into a tanning booth.
Oh, geez.
And two, somebody went skiing and the reflection off of the snow.
Was it wearing?
So in the US, most surgeons are now recommending for safety measures, wear it outside, right? And outside the US, there are a lot of surgeons who are saying, don't even bother.
Yeah.
So let me take a look at your eyeballs.
Absolutely. Let's do this. So the pressure's good.
Pressure's great. Yep. The two big things we look at on post-op day one are vision and pressure. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at the center of your cornea to see if there's any swelling. There's virtually none. The lens is perfectly centered. There's a little bit of inflammation inside of the eye that is expected. We always have that on the first couple of days after surgery. The incision is nicely sealed. I can see your LASIK flap. Everything looks really good. There's no signs of posterior capsular opacification at this point in time. And everything looks unchanged in your left eye. A mild cataract here, but nothing to write home about. You can sit back for me. On post-op day one through week one, you have the following restrictions. No heavy lifting, no more than 15 pounds. No bending at the waist. If you want to go down and tie your shoes or pick something up off the ground, I want you to just bend down the way you're properly supposed to, not
Yeah, right.
face over.
Okay.
You are allowed to shower. Just make sure that you close your eyes when you're washing your face. You don't want to get soap in your eye, just as any normal adult would in any way. And aside from that, you're really in good shape. I don't want you submerging your head in a pool or in a lake for 2 weeks. But aside from those restrictions, you're really free to go about your normal life otherwise.
What about, can I increase my heart rate and my blood pressure?
You can increase your heart rate and your blood pressure.
Okay. So I can use my stepper. And...
You can use your stepper. I just don't want you to be aggressive on it.
Yeah.
The big concern we have and the reason behind all of these restrictions is anytime we increase the pressure in our head, we also increase the pressure in our eyeball, and the incisions we make are still fresh. We don't want those incisions to gape open and create a leak.
Got it.
Additionally, we don't want you to go underwater because when you go underwater, you run the risk of an infection.
Got it.
On the topic of infection, you are going to start your eye drop today.
Okay.
This is a compounded eye drop that contains prednisolone, moxifloxacin, and bromfenac in it. That's a antibiotic, a steroid, and a non-steroidal, all in one. I also inject into the eye at the time of surgery moxifloxacin, dexamethasone, and ketorolac, an antibiotic, a steroid, and a non-steroidal. And because we give you a little bolus at the time of surgery, post-operatively, you're able to use less eye drop. So I have my patients use 1 drop per day for a month to keep it really simple. Now, this eye drop is compounded. It is a suspension, not a solution. What I mean by that is that there's little particles inside of it, so you have to shake it. Make sure you shake it. It's also very normal for this drop to burn.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. It means it's working.
Okay.
I will plan to see you next week to ensure that you're continuing to heal appropriately.
Okay.
And then at the 17-day mark is when we will start the adjustments. Now, because you are post-LASIK with enhancement, it is very likely that we will delay that. In somebody with a virgin eye that's not had refractive surgery before, we do often start at the 17-day mark. However, in somebody who's had LASIK, RK in particular, we wait longer. And the reason for that is because eyes that have been altered with corneal refractive surgery are less stable than eyes that haven't been. And we want to make sure that your prescription is fully rock solid stable before we start adjusting your prescription, because what we adjust it to is where it's going to land. We want to make sure that we know exactly where we're going to land.
Perfect.
Come on up front with me and we'll get you scheduled for 1 week.
1 week. So that's day 1 in the books. I think everything's still on track. The lens is well centered. Healing seems to be going well. It's obviously too early to tell what the final vision's gonna look like. The next video will likely be at the 1 week mark, where we will find out a lot more about the eye, the reflections, the vision, and kind of what the potential will be. But for now, again, everything seems to be going well. So the journey is underway.